Hi, babies. We're gonna do a reading. I'm gonna do a reading. You do what you do. I'm not your mom. I want to start this by saying that with all the things that are coming out and however you want a conspiracy theory proven emails or not, the worship of time manipulation, and when you have so much money that you literally couldn't spend it in a single lifetime, the only way to continue having it is to have multiple lifetimes. I've always been the type of person that I could care less about the climb. I care about the end. I care about the peak. The journey matters, but the ending is the point, right? The point of life is to live it and then for it to end. I was thinking about how a lot of people are like, you know, there was recently, bear with me for a second. There was recently a UN, an event that happened where they were finally holding accountability to the atrocity that slavery was. The US, Israel, and Argentina were like, I don't think it was that bad. Why would they do that, right? Why are you, do you not, there's, it's like focusing on the blanket here and it's like making me feel like there's something, because I can like see square like on my phone. I know you can't see it. Anyhow, I'm not worried about it. When you think and you're like, how do you not see it for as bad as it is? Because they never got the point. You understand? When people do like those end of life flashbacks and whatever, like they get to a point where they're like, oh, these are like, when you get older, you get wiser. But if you've lived so long that nothing matters to you, so you have nothing matters and there's no point, you're just fucking doing everything. And everything it is. You understand? The reason is because they grew old, but never grew up. When you look at like I see why people are like Neanderthals. They are the literal lowest point of evolution, which is so backwards because they have all of the power. So they think. Just loud and wrong. You understand? All of this, the easiest way, if they really wanted to push their eugenics, they would end. Not just have a physical death, they would end. They would allow themselves to forget, come back, relive, relearn, rebuild, but they're disconnected from the fundamental piece of the soul, which is the release. You have to let it go, right? These are people that are old. They grew old, but they never grew up. They are spiritually children. When I look at certain files, right? When I look at the documentaries and this and this and that, what it looks like to me is a peer pressure clique. If you've ever been in high school, right? I'm sure we've all had the experience, even if like I went to an alternative high school, where they're like, you want to try this? That's what it looks like to me. It looks like two people that are, you know, they're kind of dope. They can kind of fit in anywhere. They're not, you know, they're not kind of situated anything. They're just kind of, They're like shapeshifters, hypothetically. They can kind of fit in anywhere. You know, people, they don't love them, but they're likable. And they say, hey, you ever try this? It's a big, it's the inner teen one, right? Energetically, it's the inner teen. Adults are just big kids, but it's the inner teen saying, what would I do? Rebelling against society, rebelling against what's right or wrong. Fucking, you know, what's his name? He was saying, his exact words were, you know, like, it's not my fault I'm attracted to who I'm attracted to. So he had a bit of a radical acceptance within himself, and then chose to violate people because of it. Instead of going inward, he was like, well, this is just who I am. Fuck it. Because he grew old, but he never grew up. The separation, right? And if you've experienced this, when you're 15, 16 years old, you don't see what's wrong, especially if they're, you know, if it's attractive, you know, young buck, and oh yeah, I'm 15 years old, but there's a 25-year-old man. He really likes me. He loves me. You don't see anything wrong with that. But when you grow up, not grow old, but grow up, you see that that's not right. These are people that never grew up. Mentally, they are 15 years old, protected by money, fame, influence, access, power for lifetimes. I don't really care. Everyone's like, you know, talking about the unaliving, the natural aging unaliving of certain people. I don't really care about. I want them to end, not die. Don't die. Because the point is, you're actively looking, you're actively creating the people, you know, whatever it is, you're actively programming people that would be willing, desire to take your place, that align with you. You violate the soul, right? Their identity, because you need a place to stay. And it's sad, because then you think you're above everyone, but really you're a 10-year-old boy whose mother hated him, whose father violated him, whether that's mentally, physically, whatever it is, like just everyone around you hated you. So you went to things that made you feel good. Then when you transitioned into adolescence, you didn't grow out of it. You said, well, this makes me feel good. And now I'm big and tough. And I can hide what I'm doing. And I can defend what I'm doing. And then if you think you can take me out the game, I'm rooted here. I can come back. You understand? And you can come. I've come back multiple times. But I haven't come back the way that you've come back. Because you never died. You're a 400-year-old child. And to think that you're playing with something like eugenics, can you grow up first? If you really want to get to that point, I'm sure you could. I don't doubt it. But you know what that requires? That requires you to let go of things that don't benefit that vision. And unfortunately, you've put yourself in a position where you are the foundation, but you're also the poison. You are the thing that's holding back your vision. That fucking sucks. Do you know how shitty it is to know that you will never live to see your vision be created because your sheer existence denies it? You can keep fighting this and this and this, and with all the things that are coming out, all the things, all the awareness, all the choice, all the sovereignty, the agency, the autonomy that's being taken back, you think that now is the time that you're gonna finally get through to a point where you will never, you are the hand of God reaching for whatever the fucking name is, and you will never touch. And that's fucking sad. Like, I feel sad for you because you created something not only with a shitty foundation, but you rooted it in poison. So your sheer existence, however long you've been here, however many lives and bodies and, variations of yourself that you've created to avoid the accountability, the point of life, you will never live to see the success that you're so actively building, trying to. Because your presence is that space in between. Without it, locked in. But to do that, you gotta go. You understand? You actually have to end. Not just, oh, well, this meat bag is done. Let me just jump into another one. Who was born today? Please. And it's pitiful, honestly. Honestly. Because if all the things that we know about, like past life regression, just one, simple, right? Like, you could really get to that point. You could really get to the beautiful utopia you think you're creating. But the karma of it is that because of what you've done for millennia, you will never touch it. You're between a rock and a fucking never place. Okay? You can go to hell and be stuck there forever, or you can go to God and be sent back with no access, no money, no power, no access to your past life, to regressions, to identity, to any of that, to be completely reborn. Either way, you're scrapping to hold on to something that literally no longer exists. And it's pitiful. You're pitiful. Because there are people that have been able to, that have been strong enough to, that grew up instead of just growing old, and were able to get the power, the awareness, and the choice to get to, to get to an ideal human, right? You're more focused on what it looks like and what it walks like and what it talks like. But you do understand that humanity is a mind, body, and spirit kind of embodiment. There are people that are 13 steps ahead of you before you even consider. You're over here worried on the body. The embodiment, the physical manifestation is the very last piece. First, it is the soul. Then it is the mind. Then it is the body. Think of birth, okay? First, it is the spirit. You think about Akashic records, soul contracts, this and this and that. First, your soul is either created or called, okay? Then the mind. While you're in utero at 20 weeks, when your spirit comes into the body, your mind is created. Your brain is literally generated, right? That's where you start to hear your mother's words and you start to, feel all these things, your mind. And then as that happens, your body is the last thing that comes into fruition. You couldn't even imagine putting your spirit where it needs to be. There are people that are actively building what you think you want, but you're trying to do it backwards, and you will never reach it. Your sheer existence, it's literally, it will never happen. Under no circumstance, no matter how much you sacrifice, no matter what violence you commit against humanity, this and this, it will never happen. And that's the realization that's coming into fruition. That you will never touch. Because to let go means to finally have an end, to finally be face to face, right, with your creator, whoever that might be, to be put in front of judgment, divine judgment, and to hold that accountability. This is spiritual bypassing on the highest fucking degree. And that's sad. To be so pitiful. You live lifetimes, because you're so scared of yourself that you just completely deny it. At a certain point, you will get tired. Do you want to know why? Because now people know. Awareness breeds choice. Do you want to know what happens when nobody wants to be around you? When there's people that, you know, it's really funny. Like the triangle is the strongest, you know, the structure, right? And you think about that, and it's like when you remove even one piece of it, doesn't matter how strong you are. It doesn't matter how strong Baal is. If you remove, let's say, collectiveness, right? A couple thousand people. 144, let's say. Your triangle is now void. It will not hold up. No matter what you do, it will not hold up. There are people that are actively denying your essence, your embodiment, your will, your intention. You failed. Because the point went so far up over your head, it's up there by Pluto. And you're like, what? Huh? I guess I'll just, okay. And you think that just because, oh, well, I've been around 4 million years. That's so great, bubs. That's great, because what you're creating will never exist with you here. And it's really funny because you made it this way. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you put yourself, you created your own downfall. And something so deep, like, oh yeah, you got what you wanted for maybe a couple different lifetimes even. I can't even imagine what that feels like to the soul. To be so close and never get to touch it. To never even... That's sad. Like, I'm sad for you. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you take out or how many cars start moving by themselves and wrap themselves around a tree. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, there is the possibility to come back to have, you know, that beautiful reincarnation through God, through beauty, through love, through purity, through innocence. And not in a way that violates, damages, robs you. I think it's really funny because when we talk about like the year of the fire horse, the year of the snake, we as like the collective, we have become aware of a bunch of things, but that's not all it what they did too. I can't even imagine thinking that you came all this way. Imagine like you climb Mount Everest and on top of it is like your fucking mom's house where she's waiting to pour hot grits on you. And your dad saying that you're a worthless piece of shit. That's so sad. That's pitiful. Anywho, I'm gonna do a card reading right after this. I'm gonna post 2 videos today. Much love. You know, I do hope you grow up eventually. I do fully believe that it should be until all of us are free, and that does include your pitiful ass. So, you know, I send love to that you know, that slowly beating heart that you keep trying to manipulate time for. It's just so sad. I'm so sad for you. I won't cry. I won't waste my tears on you, but eek.